Niña Mona.
M.L Salazar. The rain came down hard that night in Humacao. Thunder cracked over the mountains, and the whole town went dark when the lights went out. I sat in my old rocking chair, rosary in hand, while my grandson Mayito curled up at my side, his small eyes wide from the storm. "Abuela," he whispered, "tell me a story. A scary one." The thunder rolled again, rattling the shutters. I rocked slowly, looking at his little face glowing in the candlelight. "A scary one, eh? You sure, Mayito? Once I tell it, you won't sleep tonight." "I don't care," he said bravely, hugging his knees. "I'm not scared." I chuckled softly. Igualito que tu abuelo. Always saying he wasn't afraid. But this story, mijo, it's not just scary. It's true. And it happened right here, on this very coast. His eyes lit up. "What story?" I leaned closer, lowering my voice as the thunder rumbled. "La Niña Mona." Mayito tilted his head. "Who was she, abuela?" "Why do people say she'll come get you if you don't eat your food or go to bed?" I stopped rocking. The rain hissed against the roof. For a moment I thought about keeping it to myself, like so many adults did. But Mayito was growing. He deserved to know the truth. "She was real, mijo. Flesh and blood. And her story begins not with her, but with her parents. Do you know El Castillo de Naguabo? The big old house by the beach? See. That house was built by one of the richest families on the island. Victorian style, imported stone, carved windows. From its towers they could look down at all of Naguabo and the ocean too. The owners had only one son, Guillermo. Handsome, spoiled, born with everything. And in that same house worked a maid. Her name was Rebecca. Rebecca, I continued, my voice low, was a beauty like no other. Eyes green as emeralds, hair long and black, reaching her waist, skin smooth as porcelain. She was young, maybe younger than you'd think, and Guillermo saw her every day cleaning the halls, carrying laundry, scrubbing the marble floors. And little by little, he lost himself. He fell in love with her, madly, foolishly, hopelessly in love. Mayito gasped. "Did she love him too?" "Si," I nodded. "She did. It wasn't just him. She gave her heart to him, thinking love was stronger than money, stronger than bloodlines. They kept their affair secret, but secrets like that don't last forever. Soon, Rebecca was pregnant. The candle flickered as thunder shook the house. When Guillermo told his parents he would marry her, raise her child as his heir, the family erupted. His father roared like a beast. "A maid? You would stain our bloodline with a servant's child?" His mother called Rebecca a temptress, a snake who had tricked their son. They humiliated her, fired her on the spot, and in front of the whole household they swore she would never step foot inside the Castillo again. And Guillermo? They sent him away, abroad, to Europe, before the scandal could grow. "That's not fair!" Mayito cried, fists clenched. I placed my hand on his head gently. "No, mijo, life isn't always fair. And sometimes it is cruel. But Rebecca," I said, lowering my voice, "she wasn't ready to give up. She was desperate, and desperation makes people do things they shouldn't. She had heard whispers of a woman, a bruja, who lived on a strange island off Punta Santiago. You know the one, don't you? La Isla de los Monos." Mayito shivered. "The Monkey Island?" "Si." Years before, foreign scientists had brought baboons there for experiments. But when they left, they abandoned them. The island became theirs, feral, wild. And deep inside that jungle of screeches and howls lived the bruja in a shack of driftwood and bones. Mayito's eyes widened. "She went there?" "She did." One stormy night, Rebecca rowed a small boat across the dark water, heavy with child, her hair sticking to her face. She reached the island, where the air reeked of salt and blood, and the howls of monkeys echoed like demons. The bruja. In the heart of the jungle she found her, the bruja. Old, crooked, with eyes like burning coals. The shack smelled of smoke and rotting herbs. Skulls hung from the beams, and the screeches of baboons grew louder as she spoke. Rebecca fell to her knees. "Please," she begged, tears streaming. "I love Guillermo. I cannot live without him. Bring him back to me. Make him stay with me forever." The bruja smiled. "Forever?" she rasped. "Very well, but the price is blood." And before Rebecca could protest, the bruja slit the throat of a baboon. Its blood poured into a bowl. She smeared symbols on Rebecca's skin, chanted in a language older than the sea. "It is done," the bruja hissed. "Guillermo will never leave you again." For a time, the spell seemed to work. Guillermo wrote letters from abroad, swearing he would defy his parents and return. And one night, he did. He boarded a carriage, determined to see her again. But the spell was twisted. On the road, his horse panicked. The carriage overturned. Guillermo was crushed beneath its wheels, dead before dawn. The bruja had kept her promise. Guillermo would never leave her again, because death bound him to her forever. Mayito's mouth dropped. "So, she killed him?" "Not directly," I said softly. "But her dark magic, the baboon's blood, it sealed his fate." Rebecca was left alone, ruined, with only the child inside her. The child. When the baby was born, the town gasped. She was frail, her body twisted, her face distorted into a permanent grin. Drool spilled from her lips. She never spoke, never cried, only stared with that grotesque smile. People whispered the bruja's spell had cursed the child, mixing human flesh with the spirit of the baboon whose blood had been used. They called her La Niña Mona. Rebecca, once so proud and beautiful, hid her away on a balcony behind iron bars. But the children of the town were merciless. They threw stones, eggs, rotten fruit. They mocked her, laughed at her, called her monkey girl, and all she did was smile. Mayito trembled. "Abuela, what happened to her?" I rocked slowly, the candle flickering against the storm. One night, sickness came. The girl grew feverish, weaker than ever. Rebecca sat at her side, clutching her hand, tears soaking her hair. And as her daughter took her last breath, Rebecca's grief turned to fury. She screamed at the heavens, "If the world mocked my daughter, let the world pay her price. May her spirit hunt their children and their children's children until every cruel laugh is silenced." The girl died with that grin on her face, but in the silence after, something else breathed in. Her spirit crawled free. Not a child, not human. Something twisted, smiling, hungry. And from that night, she began to walk. Every cruel child who had thrown a stone grew up to die with their mouths locked in broken smiles. And their children, the innocent ones, were marked too, because the curse was on the blood, not just the guilty. The thunder cracked so loud the windows shook. Mayito jumped, clutching my arm. "Abuela," he whispered, "is she still out there?" I rocked slower, eyes fixed on the candle flame. "She never left, mijo." On stormy nights like this, some say they hear her crawling across rooftops. Others see her face at their window, pressed against the glass, drooling, grinning. She remembers every laugh, every cruel word, and she will not stop until her mother's curse is fulfilled. I leaned close, my voice barely above the rain. "So if you ever hear nails scratching your window or see a face grinning too wide in the moonlight, don't scream. Don't move, because La Niña Mona has already found you." The thunder rolled again, and in the silence that followed, Mayito swallowed hard. I think I want the lights to come back now, Abuela." I smiled sadly and kissed his forehead. "Me too, mijo. Me too."